So he's arresting young Bob. Arresting young Bob. Yeah, laugh at it, Bob. Take it.
We'll take it.
We'll take the arrest. We'll take the arrest. Yeah. And him man wanted to talk to a Christian. That's what it was. What is wrong with that?
Have a bat in your car, but you can't demonstrate that you have a sporting event. You can get into trouble with the police and the prosecution and see yourself in court for possession of an offensive weapon. So if you do have a baseball bat, for example, for a sporting event, then make sure it is clear and you have other equipment with it as well.
You need to be very careful, because this isn't, you may think you're in a Western democracy, you're in Britain, it's okay, it has law and order. It doesn't, not when it comes to the Muslim community. They'll allow them all to be masked up, ballied up. No one will know who they are. They'll be hunting around the stadium.
Islam is about to show it is now the dominant force on Britain. That is the chilling warning from Tommy Robinson ahead of tonight's Aston Villa versus Tel Aviv Maccabi clash, which has already seen Israelis banned as Islamists plot for a violent takeover, meaning 700 police have been drafted in. But the sad reality is that Birmingham, the UK's second city, has already fallen. The metropolis resembled a war zone overnight, with worse to come in the coming hours. Martin Gauci reported Birmingham erupts as someone is stabbed live over fireworks, and David Atherton reported ugly scenes near Aston Villa's stadium as local Muslim and left activists put up signs that read, "No war games allowed, Zionists not welcome, show Zionists the red card." And he said Israel occasionally does overplay the anti-Semitism card, but that is not the case here. The hate is palpable. So I want to show you the scenes overnight from Birmingham that the mainstream media are trying to cover up.
Chill. I know you're trying to separate it, but... We're live in Birmingham! Get back! Get back! Get back! Come and do this! Get back, what? Live in Birmingham! Yo, why is everyone fighting?
20 minutes.
Look at the officer's choppy. Officer's enjoying. This is what we call a nice officer. Behind the line, guys. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to make an account now. Hey, the fence is come back. The fence is She's locked up, she's gone. She's gone.
So Aston Villa, here we are. The lads over there are putting signs on the lampposts.
DP as well. Pick it up.
We thought we'd come here before the calm, before the storm. Obviously tomorrow, Maccabi Tel Aviv are turning up. The fans were banned, as you all know. Now, what the signs are putting up is no war games allowed. Palestine flag. So they're putting signs out. So I'm guessing this side is where that's this side of the...
The red card up there, look.
And then the counter will be up that side, I'm guessing, all around the other way. But it's got to be a bloody busy day. Go on. What's this area called? Is this actually Aston here?
The reaction from patriots is horror as our elite class go completely silent. Paul Joseph Watson posted the tradition of attacking police and firemen with fireworks has been happening in diverse European cities for years. Now it's in the UK. Emma Speaks Freely posted, "My mum grew up 15 minutes down the road from where the main protest will take place tonight. She can't believe what it's become. She never goes to Birmingham. She's too scared. This is our home. It's being taken right out from under us." And Starmer Out added sarcastically, "I await Starmer's national press conference, ushering in the full force of the state to stamp down hard, complete with televised show trials." Just kidding. He only does that to English people. He will probably donate a couple of billion for youth centres, ban bonfire night and blame the far right. Tommy Robinson added alongside this video, "So gangs of Muslims have been out in England's second largest city, Birmingham, masked up as usual, beaming videos onto walls and raising the flag of a terrorist state in an effort to intimidate Israeli football supporters. Not a word from politicians and legacy media." And this lot, this pro-Palestinian mob, are literally predicting a riot. They want a riot. Watch.
La 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 la. We predict a riot! We predict a riot! We predict a riot! We predict a riot!
But in our MSM, the election of hard-left Islamist Mamdani in New York has actually seen MSM figures like Woke ITV's Good Morning Britain host Adil Ray openly advocate for the introduction of Sharia law. I'm not joking. Look at this post. Some say Mamdani may implement Sharia law. He might. The heart of Sharia is social justice, welfare, fairness, charity, and cohesion. Most Muslim countries operate a hybrid of Sharia and civil law, thus slowly reforming and abandoning unethical practices despite the West's portrayal. Yes, that is a presenter, a mainstream presenter on Woke ITV, pushing the peaceful religion of Sharia law. That peaceful religion, so well illustrated by that Muslim hardliner in Birmingham, Ahmed Yaqub. Watch.
You can't demonstrate that you have a sporting event. You can get into trouble with the police and the prosecution and see yourself in court for possession of an offensive weapon. So if you do have a baseball bat, for example, for a sporting event, then make sure it is clear and you have other equipment with it as well. Otherwise, it will be difficult for you to show that you have a reasonable excuse to have this bat. Always remember, there's a defense for every offense.
Prophet was a Semitic.
So you're telling me that Muslims cannot be anti-Semitic, that it's part of your sacred creed?
Muslims cannot be against any religion. We are taught to coexist with peace and harmony with every religion.
Well, it's not really working out, is it? Particularly, shall we say, in Gaza.
Why not?
Well, the Muslims who invaded Israel on October the 7th a couple of years ago, were they sticking to your creed of you must live in harmony, you must not be anti-Israel? Well, how do they fit into what you're telling me about Muslims?
What about the children?
No, well, tell me that.
What about the
those Hamas thugs who massacred.
What about the 1948?
Okay, yeah, but never mind what about it. You just told me that it's sacred.
Now then, you want to talk about history?
No, I want to talk about October the 7th. I want to talk about October. Are you going to answer my question? You can't answer my question. You just told me that it's sacred to Muslims that they cannot be anti-Semitic. What would you describe those Hamas Muslims who invaded?
What would you describe as 1948?
Well, no. Why are you going to answer my question? Are you going to answer my question?
All those people,
well, they're not exactly being...
Those people from their homes...
Well, the peace and harmony that you talk about wasn't exactly in evidence, was it?
Tommy Robinson has warned that what happens tonight will be a foreshadowing of what's to come. Okay, half of you watching this are not subscribed to Dan Wootton Outspoken, and the best way you can support what we do is by hitting that subscribe button. It is completely free, and turn on the notification bell to be alerted to our new episodes.
Tonight, Tel Aviv are playing Aston Villa, and Islam is about to show its dominant force on Britain. Okay, they already have, because the Birmingham police had to cancel, for safety reasons, any Tel Aviv fans coming to the city of Birmingham, because they knew what would happen. They'd be hunted down, they'd be attacked, they'd be violently attacked. But not happy with that, the Muslim community are now saying they don't want the Tel Aviv football team. And this is the start, okay? So they want the whole of Birmingham, they want the whole of the UK to be a Jew-free zone, but they're labelling it as Zionists. We'll let them do that for now, yeah? But what they're saying is no Zionists, people who believe in a homeland for Jewish people. Remember, these are Muslims living in a Christian land, yeah, who have come here to dominate, who are having a go at Jews for going home to their land. Couldn't make it up. Couldn't make it up. Then they're making videos saying this is their city. So this is Muslims telling the whole world that Birmingham is their Muslim city, and moaning about the Jews in their own land, in their own one and only Jewish state in the world. There's 55 Islamic nations. Forget the Islamic nations. They've infiltrated and dominated now every Western nation as well, yeah?
And we've got to think about the two-tier policing, which is coming in the next few hours.
Any fans are going there. You need to be very careful, because this isn't... You may think you're in a Western democracy. You're in Britain. It's okay. It has law and order. It doesn't. Not when it comes to the Muslim community. They will be balaclavaed up, masked up with weapons, and the police will not... Do you know, at any football game, any demonstration, the police issue, I think it's a section 60, which means no face coverings, yeah? I think it's section 60. So any demonstration that we would have previously as the EDL, or any right-wing demonstrations, anything like that, they'll issue this order, which means the police have the ability to arrest you if you cover your face. They won't issue that tonight. They'll allow them all to be masked up, ballied up. No one will know who they are. They'll be hunting around the stadium. I'll be surprised if the game is able to go ahead.
And what is most shocking about all of this is that the MSM is just pretending like this unrest in Birmingham isn't even happening.
Schools are closed today in Birmingham. They're closing all the schools early for safety. Now imagine a right-wing demonstration was targeting a minority group of fans or supporters or a race or religion, and they were coming out in such numbers that all the schools were having to shut. Imagine what all our politicians would be saying. Imagine the outcry. They'd probably get the military on the street to deal with us. Let's see what they do tonight at the Tel Aviv football match, yeah? Let's see what they do tonight. But if you are going, stay safe, man. If you're going to report, stay safe, because the police will not enforce the law against them. Not evenly. We all know that, yeah? You've all seen that.
We have. We have seen it. We know it. And it's shocking. But what's so shocking to me is what the MSM is concerned about today. Not the most astonishing degradation of Birmingham, but rather Elon Musk's support of Tommy Robinson after he posted on his X platform following the no guilty verdict earlier this week. Thank you for raising the flag of England while so many cowards cowered. The fake news agents are obsessed with this because they're just pretending that this country isn't in deep trouble. Watch.
Elon Musk has a very big voice, and Joe Rogan's podcast amplifies this massively. We now have Americans convinced that if you go to the Cotswolds now, you're inevitably going to get raped, because that's what happens when you go to places like this out of London. I mean, it is frankly fucking absurd. I mean, just absurd. But he's also coupled this with some posts this weekend on his social media platform, X, that without doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, civil war is coming to England.
Well, this is how it works, isn't it? You go on a podcast and you spout shite about something you know nothing about. I mean, what he's demonstrating there, I think, is like how seldom he probably comes to England, to the UK, how little he knows anywhere that he's even naming. But all that you have to do is go on a podcast, have that repeated, and then you, as the richest, most powerful media magnate in the world now, put civil war is coming, which reinforces your own position, which has no basis in fact or evidence or anything else, which other people then tweet so it becomes real.
I tell you the trouble with what he's saying is that it's almost like it's not just that he's repeating it. He wants
he's
it to
advocating.
be. He's advocating for it. There's a degree in which he wants it to be a self-fulfilling prophecy that there will be civil war, because this is what he said immediately after Southport, that he said civil war is coming to England and the terrible murder of the 3 girls. And again, he has said it again when there was civil disturbances. Civil war is coming, and I think he's slightly frustrated that people in the Hobbit-like villages of England are carrying on their daily lives pretty much as normal.
Are you kidding me? The only one spouting shite mateless is you and your hard-left mate Sopal. Look at the footage that I've just shown from Birmingham. Over the past 24 hours, civil war is clearly coming. Some would argue the scenes on the street make it clear that it's already here or it's already close. But nothing in the mainstream media could be as bad as Woke ITV. Now, I've got to take you through this because I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my own eyes. So, Woke ITV has finally launched a special series on the concerns of mass immigration, sweeping the British population. I thought, okay, fair enough. Maybe they have finally understood that we're done, that we've had it. But absolutely not. They used this special report to try and make us feel sorry for the illegal criminals who break into our country and are then put up in free hotels. Watch.
Tonight, we begin a series of special reports examining just how deep those rifts are across the country. The exclusive research shows opposition to immigration has risen significantly over the last 5 years. It's high across all ages, but particularly strong among people aged 55 and older. And anti-immigration sentiments run highest in coastal areas.
When they dreamt of England, they didn't reckon on the Metropole Hotel. Marooned on the Lancashire coast, home to hundreds of asylum seekers. Focus of anger most weekends. Fury on the outside. Fear on the inside. A dividing line few are brave enough to cross. But Mohammed wants to talk. We're protecting his identity. He tells us he's fleeing political persecution and torture back home. But he never bargained for what Britain would offer.
How is the hotel?
Not good.
Not good?
Not good. Bad. Very, very bad.
We have images from inside, taken within the past few months. The hotel's operator, Serco, insists these problems have been fixed, that no concerns have been raised by official bodies. But still, it's far from the paradise Mohammed says he imagined.
Food, not good. Smell. I am sick.
Are you kidding me? I don't give a damn. I seriously don't give a damn. They shouldn't be here whatsoever. If they are here, they should be intense. Like, I cannot believe that ITV, Woke ITV, says we're going to do a series about the problems with illegal immigration. But actually, what we're going to focus on are the fact that the illegals, the rapists, the terrorists, the murderers are not being housed in accommodation that's quite luxurious enough. Now, unbelievably, that same reporter then spoke to a deprived native Blackpool resident, former drug addict, and tried to make him feel bad for the illegals.
People think that inside the hotel it's some kind of luxurious life. The reality is they're crowded into rooms. They get £10 a week to spend.
My point is, unless you can identify them, send them back.
But we have something to show Nathan. Those pictures from inside the Metropole.
This is somebody's bedroom.
Someone's ceiling leaking there, yeah. That's not fair letting them live. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. Raw sewage and... That's just wrong. Them top ones, it's water in a basement, but that is dangerous. There's kids in that hotel.
Yeah.
Considering it's paid for by the government, that is wrong. that should be in a lot better condition than that.
Any of it make you rethink the bigger picture about migrants housed in hotels in Blackpool?
The system that they've got at the minute isn't working, clearly, because it's causing protests and causing wars, and the government needs to make a better system to manage this whole crisis at the minute, because it's not managed very well.
It's a mess.
It's a mess, it is.
The mainstream media honestly needs to die. Meanwhile, the drumbeat of terror and terror that is coming is in our face every single damn day.
Got a bit of breaking news to bring you now, because we've had some new statistics about the number of referrals to the government's anti-extremism scheme Prevent, and they have gone up a lot. There were a record 8,778 referrals, which is up 27% on the previous year. Now, this was expected, I should say. They said that part of the reason for that surge is in the wake of the appalling Southport murders we saw in 2024. There have been more people referred to the scheme. Axel Rudakabana, of course, was referred 3 times to the scheme, Prevent, before he carried out those attacks.
Just use the damn word. Just use the damn word. Islam extremism. That's what it's about. As Connor Tomlinson posted, reminder, British intelligence and the government have been repeatedly warned about thousands of jihadist terror cells currently in our country, plotting attacks on civilians and infrastructures, and they have done nothing. They have done nothing because they hire Muslims who don't want to be called racist. Their feelings matter more than your family. And Connor Tomlinson is here now. But first, this episode of Outspoken is brought to you by Manscaped, the global leader in men's lifestyle and grooming. And I'm very excited to say the heat has finally arrived overseas. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra in the white hot special edition colorway from Manscaped is now available across the UK, Europe, and Australia. It's the same trimmer trusted by millions of men, including me, now with a clean white and gold finish that looks just as smooth as it shaves. But this isn't just a pretty face. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is built to handle your most sensitive areas with care, helping reduce the risk of nicks, cuts, and irritation where it matters most. So whether you're cleaning things up for a day, to trip, or just to feel a little bit more pot together, the white hot trimmer makes below the waist grooming a whole lot smoother. Literally. Join over 12 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and use the code Outspoken for 15% off your entire order at manscaped.com. And to the ladies in the Outspoken audience, trust me, this is a fail-safe gift for your boyfriend, your husband, your son, your brother, or your hard-to-buy-for male best mate. The blades are designed to glide over the skin with less tug and pull, helping the bloke in your life avoid the usual redness or irritation that comes with lower quality trimmers. It's simple, effective, and doesn't require a whole routine. Just pick it up, clean up what you need, and move on. Whether you're using it in the shower, on the go, or standing over the sink before a night out, the White Hot 5.0 Ultra fits into your day without getting in the way. Plus, the white and gold design actually looks good. You won't be hiding it in the bottom drawer anymore. White hot looks, smooth results. The White Hot 5.0 Ultra brings the heat without cooking your skin. It's sleek, easy to use, and way less terrifying than whatever you were using before. Use the code Outspoken for 15% off your entire order at manscaped.com. That's 15% off with the code Outspoken at manscaped.com. But now, back to the show. Connor, extraordinary scenes in Birmingham overnight. And remember, these Islamist extremists said, we're not going to protest if you ban the Israeli football fans. They were banned, and the hatred is still spreading all throughout that city. And I think there is clear incitement to violence from some of the leaders there. We knew what he was saying about the baseball bat, Connor, right? Like, we weren't born yesterday. We know what he was saying about the baseball bat. He wants the Islamists to be armed in Birmingham tonight.
Well, this is the same Ahmed Yaqub who went on GB News at one point, I think it was with Ben Leo, or it was The Five, and was sat next to a guy in a England football shirt, and he said, well, as you can see with my friend here who is wearing his England football shirt, we celebrate British values. after having already been on a podcast laughing about the Islamic takeover of Britain. So when people tell you who they are, especially in an accent that laden with low impulse control and stupidity, I think we should believe them. As far as the Islamic takeover of Birmingham, yes, the posters that were put up about not allowing Zionists and the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans to visit were put up by a group called Deenify. Deen means living according to the traditions of the Prophet Muhammad. So this is an Islamic activist group who are going out in the dead of night, wearing masks, evading accountability, no matter what crimes they may commit, and feeling entitled to put up racial and religious blood libel posters in their area. But the thing is, Dan, I will raise it. You said that the mainstream media and politicians don't care. And that seems to be true of the liberal umpires in the Labour Party, who think that they can make all of these groups who have had irreconcilable differences for thousands of years, particularly in the Middle East, play nice. And the only people's concerns, the indigenous Brits, in this conversation are forgotten. However, there is a subset of politicians who do care, and that is likes of Michael Gove or Priti Patel, many people in the Conservative Party who have been appalled about the treatment of Jewish football fans, but have not been appalled about the fact that they brought the people that are mistreating them here in the first place and allowed them to turn our second largest city and many other cities in our country, Blackburn, Luton, Bradford, bits of Manchester, London, into open-air Islamic slums. And so I must ask Dan, and it is a very contentious question, but why does it only matter when Muslims mistreat Jews or murder Jews, as happened on Yom Kippur earlier in October, absolutely appalling, but they don't care as much when it's the grooming gangs, when it's the Manchester Arena attacks, when it's just mass migration causing their Islamic advocates, like Mr. Yaqub and the MPs in Parliament who stood on a pro-Gaza ticket. Why do they only care when it's happening to Jews, but not the rest of us? I think we should both be held to the same standards, and none of these terror sympathisers should be in my country.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I care every damn day about this takeover. And it is now very clearly a takeover. And we've seen that they are trying to repeat the same thing in New York. So what has happened in London and Birmingham should be a lesson to the West. And I completely agree. I mean, this is something I think we've got to start talking about every damn day. In some ways, Connor, I'm heartened by the fact that I've seen figures on the right in America pick up the mantle from the dearly departed Charlie Kirk, Megyn Kelly, for example, who is now just prepared to say it. You know, Islam is not compatible with our way of life in the West. It is okay to not want to have Islamist leaders of our biggest cities. And I do wonder if that will maybe embolden some of the people over here who, you are quite right, on a day-to-day basis are not prepared to call out this threat, which is already here. And in America, they are prepared to call it out. They know about it, and they know about it in part because of what's happened to London, Connor.
That is true, though they're still trying to force the GOP's hand to block immigration from the Muslim world. Trump did have an immigration red list, which was referred to as a Muslim ban, which stopped the large sponsors and producers of terrorists from coming into the country. But the last time, Dan, I was in Washington, D.C. Dulles, it looked like a refugee camp. So America needs to get a handle on its Muslim migration. They've got enclaves across Minnesota and Michigan and now Texas. They're building a Muslim separatist city, and these are in even Republican states. I mean, remember, George Bush after 9/11 allowed millions of Muslims to move to the United States, and this is why they've elected Mamdani, who is basically third world bane, as mayor of New York. It's because the majority of New York is not New Yorkers. They are not Americans. They are first generation or second generation immigrants, many from the third world, aided and abetted by suicidal white leftists, because 84% of white women in New York who, despite their own unsafety, are still living in New York, voted for Mamdani. But Mamdani, when he got up and celebrated his victory, he announced that this was for the abuelas and the taxi drivers, and he didn't list a single American. It was all immigrant client groups. And so Mamdani's resentful politics are the same politics as the Islamic and Left Alliance, and that is They don't like white people. They want to steal their stuff and they want to give it to people that look like them. And we are seeing the same politics inflicted upon us in Britain, in our major cities, by raw demographics. It's not just ideological, it's not just religious, it is ethnic resentment and naked colonialism. And it just needs to be reversed.
It really does. It really does need to be reversed. I don't hold out much hope. Breaking right now, we have developments out of Birmingham where the first violence has erupted outside the Aston Villa stadium. So young Bob, the activist from Turning Point UK, has said that he arrived at the Palestinian demo outside Aston Villa Stadium and that he was immediately assaulted by someone who recognised me as so-called Zionist. He says, thankfully, a few of the local organisers stepped in and kept things from escalating, but he added, tense doesn't even begin to describe it. So let's look at some of these scenes that have just come in now from young Bob. Watch this.
And solidarity, a message that the people of Birmingham are not going to.
What are you doing here?
Filming.
No violence.
He has a right to be here. Doesn't matter. We're going to protect him. He's in the
So immediately you saw that they went for the attack on young Bob. Israel Avant of Rebel News is also reporting at the scene. Let's watch.
Other than police, I understand that the West Midlands police force has increased their deployment from 700 police to 1,000. And you can see their trucks everywhere and they're stopping and towing cars. The pro-Palestine protest is scheduled to start at 6 p.m. Now, where we are here was supposed to be the counter protest. And so far, I think you can count on one hand's fingers the number of people here. And frankly, I find that a little bit depressing. Maybe people are scared. Maybe people are resigned to Birmingham becoming an Islamic city where Jews are not welcome. It's a no-go zone. Maybe people have decided tonight is the night not to go.
Absolutely fascinating. And we also have this just in from 2CTV.
You are a dirty Zionist, genocidal baby killer. That's what you do. He's baby killer. You kill babies. End of story. You kill babies. That's what you do.
Here's a zombie.
Kill babies.
Here's a zombie. Just a zombie.
John Kimball.
That's a zombie. Here we go. Time after time, all of you guys do the same thing. Chanting the same chants.
Coming
you
in
have
saying,
nothing to talk about besides
we've had children.
But you know where Gaza is, you don't know where Gaza
Coming
is.
in with
You know what?
bullet wounds.
But Connor, we are 2 hours away from this match kicking off. And it does already seem to be kicking off, even though the numbers are low.
I have such Middle East fatigue, Dan. Oh, that might be. Oh, there we go. I'm not muted. I have such Middle East fatigue because these people should not be here pushing for their ethnic and religious grievances in the first place. And whether it's American political discourse, whether it's British politics because of raw demographics and politically correct sensitivities, all we ever hear about is Israel. I mean, is this foreign policy issue the sun around which all of our politics must orbit? It's become a revealing issue to our political class who have imported these people into our midst with the vague hope they don't read the Quran and Hadiths a bit too closely and they'll eventually somehow assimilate, overcoming decades of cousin marriage to become as British as you and me. And it's revealed that, turns out, even being born in Britain, brought up, given the benefits of its institutions, do not dissolve those indigestible tribal priors that result in violence and schizo conspiracy theories and, shouting about blood libels in the street. But even their sort of moralizing, their concern, they're saying, oh, you're butchering babies and that. Notice how they've never organised a protest for the grooming gang victims, never organised a demonstration for the victims of the Manchester Arena bombings. And so there's not this universal abstract commitment to human rights or innocent children. It's just ethnic and religious grievances for a group with whom I share nothing in common, and so I don't care. I don't care if they're complaining in my streets. I don't care if they're complaining about some foreign war elsewhere. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to hear about it. And I certainly don't want them in Birmingham.
I want to return to our main story today now. Birmingham has fallen. New scenes of these protesters who are chanting stop the barbaric Israelis, as young Bob has now been arrested. But let's look at this first.
Barbaric Israeli establishment, all their teams are up. We will be up. Takbir! Allahu Akbar!
So, Connor, that was them chanting Allahu Akbar on the streets of Birmingham. And now young Bob, who we saw, by the way, we literally saw it with our own eyes, young Bob being assaulted as he arrived. According to reporters on the scene, he has now been arrested. I haven't watched this yet. Let's look together.
Every time you go in there, you're in. I interviewed people. I interviewed one person, and you've correctly identified the format as an interview.
That's a bit of a two-tier.
The first occasion was a man who came up to you and said, "I don't like him because he just speaks his point." The second gentleman,
young Bob's rocked up. He's been attacked. Now they're trying to remove him from the area.
No, I'm not.
We're going to have to arrest him and then he's going to have to Yeah, arrest him and then he'll sue you, isn't it? Free Israel! So he's arresting young Bob. He reached the police when he didn't. Yeah, look at him, Bob. Take it.
We'll take it.
We'll take
the arrest.
And him man wanted to talk to a Christian. That's what is wrong with that. So we're not allowed to have religion.
Connor Tomlinson, quite extraordinary, isn't it? We see the Islamists there shouting Allahu Akbar, talking about barbaric Israelis. The man arrested is, you know, the 17-year-old citizen journalist, young Bob, the Christian.
Yeah. Funny that. They still haven't apprehended all of the youths of conspicuous diverse extraction that were firing fireworks at the police officers last night. But don't worry. 17-year-old kid with a phone going around asking people why they're there, which is probably what the police should be doing, to be honest. Yeah, no, you can slap him in cuffs. All this is done is classic anarcho-tyranny. The laws will be applied against the law-abiding because they know that you will comply with them. But against the total savages who have no respect for our rule of law and want to take it over, and are shouting Allahu Akbar because they know that it has connotations with terrorism, they want to intimidate us, and they play the shell game just going, oh, it just means God is great. Not my God, thank you very much. And that God actually endorses terrorism and the wholesale slaughter of Christians and Jews, which I don't want in my country. Yeah, they don't crack down on those people. Isn't that conspicuous?
Very conspicuous indeed. Okay. Well, let's see how it develops over the next few hours in Birmingham. But of course, it's not a good sign, is it? Connor Tomlinson, thank you so much. Of course, host of the brilliant Tomlinson Talks, which you must subscribe to on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.